You wake up at 3 a.m. in a freezing trench. Your breath turns to fog in the cold November air. Around you, soldiers are still sleeping, wrapped in muddy blankets, trying to steal a few more minutes of rest. But not you. You're already awake. Because you're not just any soldier. You're a cook. And your day is about to get much, much worse. Your mission? Feed 800 hungry, exhausted, angry men 3 meals a day, in the middle of a war zone, with ingredients that would make a Victorian prisoner cry. Welcome to the most thankless, dangerous, and disgusting job in the entire British Army. Let's start with your workplace. You don't have a kitchen. What you have is called a field kitchen, which is a fancy military term for a few metal boxes and a stove positioned in the least muddy part of a trench. Your stove is a cast iron contraption that burns coal or wood when you can find either. Most days, you're scrounging for anything that'll burn. Broken crates, fence posts, even furniture from destroyed villages. But here's the problem. Your stove produces thick black smoke that can be seen for miles. Enemy artillery spotters see it. Enemy guns target it. Your breakfast service just became a beacon for German artillery. Your cooking pots are massive cast iron cauldrons, caked with grease, rust, and the residue of 1,000 terrible meals. You scrub them with sand and mud because soap is a luxury you don't have. In your counter space, a wooden plank balanced across ammunition boxes covered in mud, rat droppings, and shattered dreams. The worst part? The location changes constantly. Every time the front line moves, you pack up everything, stoves, pots, rations, and move it forward. Sometimes you're setting up while shells are still landing. Sometimes you're cooking in a position that was enemy territory yesterday, with bodies settled in nearby trenches. Now let's talk about what you're cooking with. Your main ingredient is bully beef. Canned corned beef so heavily salted it could preserve a mummy. It comes in rusty, dented tins. When you open one, the smell hits you. Salt, old meat, and something unidentifiable. The beef is gray, not brown, not pink, gray. It has the texture of wet cardboard and tastes like sadness mixed with industrial salt. But bully beef is the backbone of every meal. Breakfast, bully beef. Lunch, bully beef. Dinner, bully beef. You fry it, boil it, stew it, but it always tastes the same. And those tins aren't always sealed properly. Sometimes the meat is rancid, grain, bubbling, smelling like death. Your supply officer shrugs. We don't have anything else. Serve it anyway. Then there's the bread. Your flour arrives in burlap sacks that have been sitting in warehouses for months. By the time it reaches you, it's damp and infested with weevils, tiny black beetles that have turned your flour into a living mass. You're supposed to sift them out, but there's so many that if you removed all of them, you'd have no flour left. So you sift out the biggest ones and bake the bread anyway. Soldiers call it animated bread, because you can see things moving in it. Most of the time you're serving hardtack, rock-hard biscuits, so tough they're nicknamed toothbreakers. Some have stamps from the Boer War, 1902. You're serving food older than some of the soldiers eating it. And vegetables? Dried peas and beans that have turned gray from storage, withered potatoes that are mostly rotten. You spend hours cutting away bad parts, trying to salvage enough for 800 men. It's 4:30 a.m. Your fires are going, your pots are bubbling. You're trying to bake bread while stirring 3 different stews. Then you hear it, the whistle of incoming artillery. You have 3 seconds to decide. Dive for cover and let the food burn, or keep cooking and hope the shell doesn't hit you. You keep cooking, because if the food is ruined, 800 men don't eat. And if they don't eat, they don't fight. The shell explodes 200 yards away. You feel it in your chest. Dirt and debris rain into your cooking pots. You fish out the bigger chunks and keep stirring. This is your life now. But the smoke from your fires is the real killer. Enemy observers see it. You've lost count of how many times your kitchen has been hit. Sometimes it's just dirt, sometimes it destroys everything and kills your assistants. You learn to cook fast. Light fires, cook everything quickly, put them out. Sometimes you cook in the dark to avoid detection. And then there are gas attacks. You smell it first, a sickly sweet odor. Chlorine gas, rolling across no man's land like yellow-green fog. The alarm sounds. Gas, gas, gas. You grab your gas mask, a rubber contraption that makes you feel like you're suffocating. The eyepieces fog up instantly. You can barely see. But you can't stop. The men need to eat. So you keep cooking, half blind, struggling to breathe, stirring pots you can barely see. Your food tastes like rubber now. Everything smells like chlorine. Some days you wear the mask for hours. Your face breaks out in sores where the rubber chafes. Your lungs burn from gas seeping through. But you keep working. Here's what haunts your nightmares. The water. You need thousands of gallons per day. But you're not at home where you can turn on a tap. You're on a battlefield where every water source is contaminated or under fire. Sometimes water arrives in metal containers from wells miles away. It tastes like rust and diesel. But most of the time, you're getting water from shell craters, puddles, bomb holes, streams running through the battlefield. Here's the problem. Those craters aren't just filled with rainwater. They're filled with everything on the battlefield. Dead bodies, human and horse, decomposing. Chemical residue from gas attacks. Excrement from overflowing latrines. Diesel, oil, and fluids from destroyed equipment. This is the water you're using to cook. Your job: boil it and hope for the best. You pour it into cauldrons and light fires. A greenish scum rises to the surface. You skim it off, trying not to think about what it is. The water boils, carrying a smell that makes you gag. Not clean steam, the smell of death and chemicals being heated. You boil it for as long as you can. 20 minutes if there's time, 5 minutes if men are desperate. Sometimes there's no time at all. Men need water now. So you pour it through cloth to remove the biggest chunks and hand it out, knowing someone will get sick. And they do. Dysentery, typhoid, cholera. Men who survived bullets died from the water they drank. Who gets blamed? You. Let's walk through your typical day. 3 a.m. Wake up. Everything aches. You've been sleeping on muddy ground. Your clothes are permanently damp. No time to think. Breakfast needs to start. 4 a.m. The fire's lit. Water's boiling. You're preparing the same meals as yesterday. Bully beef hash. Hardtack. Tea. You open tin after tin, hands cramping from the can opener. Gray meat plops into pots with wet sounds. Add withered onions, sprouted potatoes. 6 a.m. Breakfast service. 800 men line up. You ladle out portions mechanically. Scoop of hash, 2 biscuits, tea. They don't thank you. The food is terrible, but they eat because they're starving. Complaints start. This hash is cold. Tea tastes like diesel. Something's moving in my biscuit. You don't respond. You just keep serving. 7:30 a.m. Clean up. Hundreds of dirty pots. You scrub with sand because there's no soap. Your hands are raw, cracked, bleeding. 8 a.m. Start preparing lunch. The menu? Bully beef stew, potatoes, hardtack, tea. You're chopping vegetables in mud. Flies swarm everywhere. They land in the stew. You fish out the ones you see. 11 a.m. An officer inspects your kitchen. He's clean, well-fed, wearing a uniform that fits. "This is unacceptable," he says. "The kitchen is filthy. The food is poor. Do better." You want to scream. Show him the supplies. Show him the water. Show him the broken equipment. But you just nod. "Yes, sir." 12 p.m. Lunch service. Another 800 men. More complaints. More ladling while artillery rumbles. 3 p.m. Supply convoy arrives. You hope for something better. What do you get? More beef, more hardtack, dried peas from Queen Victoria's era. 6 p.m. Dinner service. Same routine, same complaints, same food. 8 p.m. You finally sit down. You eat your own cold portion. It's worse than you remember. 9 p.m. Try to sleep. Your mind races. Tomorrow, you do it all again. No matter what you do, somebody's angry at you. Soldiers hate you because the food is terrible. They don't see the rotten supplies, the contaminated water, the broken equipment. They just see bad food and blame you.
Supply sergeants hate you because you're always asking for more. More fuel, more water, better ingredients. Medical officers blame you for every case of food poisoning and illness. Never mind the contaminated water, never mind the rotten meat, it's always your fault. But here's the truth. Despite everything, you know the men need you. A hot meal, even a terrible one, reminds these soldiers they're still human. After watching friends die, after nights in freezing mud under fire, a cup of hot tea is proof that civilization still exists. You see it sometimes, the way they wrap their hands around a hot cup and just hold it. The way they close their eyes at the first bite, no matter how bad it tastes, because it's hot, because it's familiar. You're not fighting with rifles, but you're fighting hunger, cold, and despair. When World War I ends, there will be monuments, statues, memorials for brave soldiers, but there won't be any monuments for you. History will forget the cooks, the men who kept armies alive, who worked 18-hour days in freezing mud, under fire, with ingredients unfit for animals. Nobody will write poems about you, nobody will give you medals, nobody will remember your name. But here's what they should remember. Without you, there is no army. Without food, soldiers can't fight. You kept them alive through winters that would have killed them. You turned rotten meat and contaminated water into meals. You worked through artillery, gas attacks, and diseases. You were told to feed 800 men with supplies for 500. You were blamed for everything and thanked for nothing. And yet you did it. Day after day, month after month, year after year. The soldiers might have won the war with bullets, but you won it with stew. So, here's to the cooks of World War I, the most thankless, dangerous, and forgotten heroes of the entire conflict. You kept an army alive, and that's something worth remembering. If you want more videos about the forgotten heroes of World War I, subscribe and tell me in the comments which job you want me to cover next. Stretcher bearer? Tank crew? Tunnel digger? Let me know.